Hey everyone, Kyle here with your market news update. Today's date is June 13th, 2024. We have a Roaring Kitty update. He apparently has sold all of his call contracts that he was holding, all 120,000 of them or so. Presumably within the last 48 hours or so, he was starting to offload all of those, and he converted them all into shares. I'm not sure if he necessarily exercised all of them. He must have exercised a decent amount just based on kind of their increased value and what equity he had available to work with. But possibly he just sold the remaining and then took that basis and put it right back into shares. So he is now sitting, he almost doubled his position entirely in shares. So he's now sitting just a smidge above 9 million shares total. Absolutely crazy. Technically, he's at 9,001,000 shares. For some reason, he added in that extra 1,000 shares. Yeah, pretty interesting stuff there. So he's all in on stock at the moment. I'm curious to see if he will be starting to sell some calls to kind of start to rebuild his cash position. He's only sitting on about $6.3 million of cash. And I'm also curious if he will be posting about that and revealing that in his kind of one-off. At the moment, it kind of seems to be about once a week position updates. Who knows if he will even keep continuing to update the public on his positions. Certainly doesn't have to. And I'm curious, though, about selling calls. And a little bit of why I bring that up is just because I think that may have been how he was able to turn his 40 mil or so originally that he had 2.5, 3 years ago into the almost 220 million that he started with, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So selling calls might have a little bit of a negative effect on his community and the stock price. If his followers, I think, are not so confident in his dedication to the stock and they learn that he is selling calls against them, I would just be kind of curious to see the reaction to that. So I'm not sure if he will continue to post updates if that's what he decides to start doing. GameStop was going to hold their annual shareholder meeting, and then it was immediately adjourned as soon as it started due to technical reasons from just way too many live streams going on. Too many viewers, overworked the servers, flooded in, just based on the Roaring Kitty live stream that we had last week and the over 600,000 people that tuned into that. I can only imagine how many people were trying to watch this annual investor meeting from the company itself. So they've not yet determined a date that they are going to reschedule it for. I imagine in the very near future, though. So we'll stay tuned on that. NVIDIA, all-time highs today. Apple, all-time highs today. S&P 500, just right there. We've been breaking all-time highs all throughout this week. And because of the FOMC, it just kind of put a little bit of a bump in that momentum, but very close. Ticker AVGO did the 10-for-1 split. We were talking about that yesterday. That date is set for July 15th. Just throwing that information out there. Adobe, ticker ADBE, the famous Photoshop and Lightroom and all that related software company, posted their earnings today. They beat on earnings and revenue. Share price is up 15% after hours. They raised their annual profit outlook. That was the main driver of that huge stock price appreciation afterwards. Customers are apparently putting all of its AI technology to use. And like we were mentioning in a video a week and a half back or so, AI is just one of those buzzwords. As long as you can say we're putting AI to use, we're looking at incorporating AI somehow. My dog typed on my keyboard and made an AI. Like, as long as you just have AI, your stock price is going to go up. And Apple had a little bit of a bumpy day on Monday from their WWDC conference going on this week. But Tuesday and Wednesday, it just rallied straight back up into all-time highs. So clearly AI is working for them as well as a buzzword. So yeah, lots of companies doing really well this week. Apple also announced that they are going to be allowing for text messages to be sent via satellite in certain situations. It's going to kind of be like their emergency 911 SOS type communication feature that they released for, I think, the iPhone 13s and newer about a year and a half ago or so. So this is going to be using the same communications network. I'm not sure exactly. I should research into whose satellites they're using. Potentially not Starlink's, especially if Elon has a little bit of a feud going on with them. But maybe, business is business on that front. So yeah, potentially if you have a new iPhone, again, this is only going to be for iPhone 14, 15s, and newer. You're going to need the iOS 18 update, so on and such forth. But if you don't have cell service or wireless internet service, hotspot or whatever, then potentially you could be holding up your phone to the sky and waiting for it to identify alignment with a satellite and be sending text messages that way. Pretty cool stuff. I am very excited for the day where satellite communications to your cell phones are the new norm. Like being able to just get cell signal anywhere in virtually any country, maybe other than the North and the South Pole and Antarctica, would just be awesome. I would totally pay a little extra more for it. I am so tired of dealing with these local few cellular companies, not being able to get service somewhere where some companies do offer it, and not, just the back and forth is just, it's exhausting. It's 2024. We should be able to get cell service wherever the heck we want at this point. I did check in on Yotta Bank. I came back around to check on Yotta Bank and see how they're doing. They do have a updates page, thankfully, on their website, and I think I'll link it down below in the description if you have an account with them, if you're trying to stay up to date on kind of where their progress is at in allowing their customers to be able to withdraw their funds again. They do seem to be making some progress. It's just, this is not an overnight thing, naturally. They are trying to coordinate with members of Congress and pull some strings with the United States House Committee and Financial Services, just trying to bring in people who have the ability to expedite this, to fast track it as much as possible. So there is some court hearings coming up where they will be hopefully posting some better news after that. But mainly they just have to get those ACH bank transactions going again. So stay tuned on that. They are approaching, pretty shortly though, they are approaching a whole month of not being able to allow customers to withdraw their funds. I'm curious to see what customers do after they can withdraw their funds. That might be a run for the exit. Yeah, unfortunate stuff, but we will stay tuned on that as well. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday. We will check in again tomorrow for Friday. Thanks again, and please like and subscribe. I'll catch y'all later.